Hi everyone, this is the CRM Ninja bringing another episode of the Oops Factor. Today I'm joined by Dubey. How are you doing, Akhil?
I'm good. Good morning.
Yeah, Akhil is in Singapore, so whilst it's morning for him, it's night here. And hopefully he's having better weather because at the moment it's pouring out of my window. What's the weather like there?
It's heavily raining for last 3 4 days.
Oh, really? Okay. Very similar to here then. We're actually
Yeah.
expecting snow tomorrow at the moment because the weather's supposed to be dropping.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, I know. Tell me about it. So before we get into stuff, there are two things I'd like to mention. First of all, for those who don't know Akil works for KPMG, and I want to congratulate KPMG on the recent announcement that they're going to be rolling out Dynamics globally, which I think is a really, really good decision. And I hope you had some part to play in this, of course. Did you?
yes. So just to let you know a little bit about myself, I'm working for a business unit, which is basically an alliance, a global alliance between Microsoft and KPMG, and I
Okay.
am part of the Asia Pacific team. So we do sell with, build with, and pretty much everything with Microsoft. So very dedicated to Microsoft
Good.
business here.
So were you excited when the announcement came through?
Yes, indeed. This is like a 5 year endeavor that KPMG has decided to embark on, which is like a $5 billion investment dedicated on digital transformation. KPMG itself has Dynamics as a suite of application for its own needs,
Okay.
and it has got an audit framework which is pretty matured, and that is also on Microsoft technologies. So starting from enablement to all the way to growing the business in all the different parts of the world, that's where they are going together.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to make very good use of Power Platform and things like Power Apps and Power Automate and stuff.
Yes, yes, it's very exciting time at the moment for the people who are into this space, into Microsoft technologies space,
Right.
especially the big apps, the business applications. And this low code, no code thing is really working out very well and giving a lot of confidence to the citizen developers as well. So yes, I'm excited.
Indeed. We can see it across so many industries. Now,
Yeah.
before we get into your oops factor, I understand that you like going for a run, obviously hopefully when the weather is not as bad. What's the most interesting thing that you've seen out whilst you're running to date?
Um, I think Singapore is a very health conscious country, and people
Yes.
here are like very much into workouts and running and exercise and all. And I actually love seeing a lot of elderly who are doing workouts. So there are some Chinese mechanism by which they try to work out. I
Right.
don't know the names of all of them, but it's really interesting to see people of the age of 80 plus and 90 plus, and they are all fit. And I think I always come across a gentleman, which I assume would be certainly around 90 plus or probably touching 100,
Right.
and he runs like anything. So I think that's the
Wow.
most interesting thing, and that keeps you like motivated to get up next morning and go ahead.
Something to inspire us all. I
Yeah.
personally absolutely hate running, but I have several reasons for that, which we won't go into now. So, well, I hope that the weather at least clears up where you are so you can go for a run tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, why don't you share with us your Oops Factor story?
Okay. So yeah. So I think this is what is the issue. I am or probably the area which is untouched, where people do not open up pretty much about the risks, the pitfalls, and the and the oops moment they have had in delivering Microsoft Dynamics projects.
Yeah.
Um, I have been into delivering Microsoft business application projects for almost a decade now,
Wow.
starting from CRM 4.0
The
all the
good
way
old
to
days of 4.0. I remember
yeah.
them well.
And I think CRM 3.0 was something I used to hear from people that they started working on. And last year I landed into a project which basically was built in CRM 3.0 almost a decade back. And I was given the responsibility to upgrade it to Dynamics CRM 2016 on premise
Wow.
because this was like a constrained environment and they were not ready to go online. But it was a good experience going from CRM 3.0 all the way to 2016, which is not easy.
It's
And
really not easy. You have to do the incremental upgrades. You can't just jump from there to the new
exactly.
versions.
And as you understand, there have been lot many constructs that have come functionally and technically. So at some point in time, after doing a couple of rounds of design and analysis, we found out that it's better to totally re-implement it uh,
Right.
than to do an upgrade, because there were huge scope of transformation. And so we ended up doing a re-implementation and doing a data migration.
Okay.
So it had its own share of challenges, bringing the documents along. People were like, I want all my documents from a decade back. I want all my emails. I want all my tasks. And I said, why do you want to get a task which you did in 2006?
People just
But
can't give up their history. They want to see it. They want to
then,
go. They want to know that they've got
exactly.
30 years of stuff. Not that they ever look at it, but they want to know. They feel assured with knowing that it's there.
Yeah. And I think one thing was interesting, which I found when the sales was made for this project, was someone just went out of the blue and said that we are going to take all your data into Excel and import it back in 2016. And I said,
Right.
man, are you talking sense? You will be bringing attachments, you will be bringing emails, you will be bringing tasks on Excel, and how you are going to map it with the parent record. And then they will say, we never thought about it.
So sort of a typical sort of sales environment in which they're sort of promising the earth and the universe and don't actually look at the tech side of it and what can be done.
Exactly, and I think this low code no code thing has been pretty new. But if we talk about how people used to sell Microsoft Dynamics CRM predominantly in yesteryears, was also like, this is a rapid application development platform, that RAD.
Yeah.
And the logic behind this RAD was that there are a few things. One thing is, they said you don't need to get into database design separately. You don't need to do the front end design separately. You just go there, create your entity, create your attributes, create your relationships, and everything is done. Now, another thing that people used to sell when it was about Microsoft or say Salesforce or probably any other technology, they would say that, the entry barrier for developers, getting developers, or the people who are going to support the project is pretty easy, because if someone has a .NET background, will be pretty quickly able to pick up
Yeah.
on this. Now, this is where I think is a kind of a trade-off, because when you think there are low entry barriers, then a lot of mess also comes it crosses the barrier. So the moment you tell people that you know how easy it is, you don't need to get to the backend people, you don't need to ask them about the database, you don't need to get into SQL Server to create your tables, you don't need permissions and all. You just create your entities if you are an administrator, and that's where they end up creating entity for everything. So,
Yes, and not just entities, but also fields. I was on a project whereby the contact form
yeah,
had 32 different versions of the contact form, and in total there were over 800 custom fields on that one
my,
form. And most of those were actually the same sort of thing, but named differently for different business units who were using it. So in one
exactly.
place, state was state, another one it was status, and another one it was state of client. And
That's
IT just threw fields on the form, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, I can totally relate to it. I have also come across a project where the opportunity entity was so badly customized for all the different business units that it ended up having the number of custom fields that it can allow. And somewhere the framework raised its hand and said, no more fields. So yeah, I can
Wow.
totally.
I can see it, right. So really what we're learning in your experience, and a lot of people's is, that it can't be sort of that traditional sales route where you have just salespeople who can pitch something, sell a concept, and then, hand it off. It's really, they need to understand the technology. They need to realistically inform the client. They need to walk through the client with the, what they're expecting, set expectations realistically, talk about hopefully agile methodology and stuff, minimum viable products and things like that.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So that's that. So that's about when you design and when you give it into the hands of people, trusting that everyone can be. I mean, the rapid application development or low code, no code, and everyone can do it. The citizen developership and all. it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong about it as far as you are approaching it very sensibly. And the other thing which I have found out is there is a certain way of handling the UI. At least until CRM 2016 on premises, there was a certain way of handling things in
Yeah.
terms of finding your way around into the system, finding things into the system. And then when people have been pretty familiarized with scrolling your mobile phone and just doing a right swipe and left swipe, the expectations with the UI UX user experience has been grown so immensely that if you do not involve people from the time you are starting the project and tell them this is what the system looks like, and probably just do a training which is, so people think that okay, once I am towards the delivery, once I'm towards the UAT, that's where I would think about the user adoption.
Right.
I think the user adoption should be thought of as the very first thing while they are deciding on the technology. You always have a trial instance. If during your sales stage also you do not want to invest into licenses, you can pretty
Yes.
much start with a trial instance and bring on some of the pilot users to tell them that this is what is going to be your world. So I think
So really
that
involving some of those key business unit people, not the
exactly.
senior stakeholders, but the actual people, who will be the early adopters who will be championing the technology within the business unit, and then they know all the processes and procedures, and they'll be using it day to day.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's very key. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So I think these two things, wherever they were not taken care of, they always ended up being into disappointments, overruns, and
yeah.
then strained relationships and so on.
It can lead to people moving away from the supplier, from the people who deliver the technology. The client will shut them out if it hasn't gone well, and could even lead
Yes.
to more extreme circumstances, which we won't discuss, because
Yes.
hopefully
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
brilliant.
So this was another thing that I kind of chipped on a couple of forums, saying that you know what, everyone pretty much can start saying that I'm a Microsoft champion, I'm certified, I am MSFT advocate, but
Brilliant.
really you have to do justice with that. If you are not articulating enough, if you are not articulating to the levels of the sales specialist or probably the global black belts of Microsoft, you are actually not just doing a bad service to your own organization, but to a bit of injustice to the architect team behind this
Yeah.
entire product and with the
I,
organization.
I fully agree with you on that. It's very important to be careful, how you're doing it, how you're engaging, how you're interacting, and what you're talking about. And especially nowadays when things change so rapidly,
Yes.
it's highly, highly important to keep up to date with, the latest developments.
That's right. 800 new features added to the stack this year. I'm not sure how we are going to cope up, but yeah, community is a great medium, and it's helping a lot. Some things, someone digs something, and someone explores some other things, and
Yeah,
put together somehow get to know about it, and that develops interest, and we end up doing some hands-on. So
indeed.
yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show to share, your thoughts and experiences. Before we go, would there be anybody who you would recommend that I could invite onto the show, and then they could share their experiences? So, who would you say should come, say that I should reach out to come on the show?
Let me think over this. There are so many awesome people. There are so many, brilliant folks out there. But maybe I've got a friend in Brisbane, Prashant Shukla.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, if he is willing, if he has got some time to spare, I think he would love it. So
sure.
you can point to it.
I will ask you to facilitate an introduction then.
Absolutely, I'll do that. I'll be happy to do that.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, thank you very much again to Akhil for coming on the show and sharing these experiences. We hope that you've enjoyed this. Please feel free to subscribe to my blog, which is linked below, and our YouTube channel on the playlist, in which we have a load of other videos. And if you'd like to come on the show and share your own experiences, hit the link below, fill in your details, and I'll send out an invite. Have a great day, everybody.